Hi, everybody. It is snowing in Indianapolis. That means it's tournament time. You know what I'm saying? IU and Purdue gearing up for basketball. This is Andy Patton, kind enough to join us from Locked On Podcasting with Tegna. We appreciate your time, man. I wanted to get an unbiased person to talk to me about IU and Purdue. All right. Tell me about Purdue. Can they make a run here? Who's going to stop the Boilermakers?
I think so. I think they can make a run. I think we've seen kind of as the year has gone on and as they kind of struggled towards the end of the year, we've seen some of the things that are issues for them. They don't handle pressure particularly well, and I think there are some teams in their region that could give them some issues. If I was Purdue, I'd be rooting heavily for Florida Atlantic in that 8-9 game. I think both those teams are very good, but Memphis in particular can put a lot of pressure on you. They have good guard play, and I think that's a matchup that could get a little sticky for the Boilermakers. But if they get past that, I like them against Duke. Duke's a very young team, a very inexperienced team. And I think, quite honestly, I think Memphis might be one of the biggest challenges Purdue could face early. But after that, I think they could go pretty far.
Well, that's interesting because I've had a lot of people telling me, oh, Duke in the Sweet 16 is a bad matchup.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Duke's been playing playing some really good basketball lately. Yeah. There's no denying that. John Shire's got that club really rolling. A lot of freshmen, really inexperienced. I could see Zach Edey just really kind of taking some of those freshmen out and really doing a good job against Kyle Filipowski, against Tariq Whitehead and those guys down low for the Blue Devils. It's not a great matchup, especially with how hot Duke has been as of late, but I think Purdue's guards match up a little bit better with Duke's guards than they might in some other matchups. And I think you could see Purdue's backcourt and, of course, Zach Edey and what he can do down low. I think that's actually a matchup that I would favor Purdue, although I don't think anybody wants to play Duke right now.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears to IU. They've been streaky, of course. We've seen the highs and lows of how they've been playing. How do you like their tournament run here?
I'll be honest, Kent State's one of the most dangerous lower seeds that I can see in this tournament. I saw them play Gonzaga back in December. I saw them play a handful of really good non-conference games, and I thought that's a team where if they get a 12 or a 13 seed, I could see them being an upset. Now, I'm changing my tune a little bit. I think Indiana's going to win this one. Trace Jackson Davis is just a nearly impossible player to stop down on the block. I don't think Kent State has any answer for him. But this is a tough matchup because they got to get through a good defensive team in Kent State. And then you got a Miami team with some of the best guards in the entire country in Nigel Pack and Isaiah Wong. And this is not a great draw for Indiana. I think they're good enough to make it out of these two games into the Sweet 16, but there are some other matchups that I think would have favored the Hoosiers a little bit better. But if Jalen Hood-Schifino continues to play as well as he has the last few weeks and doesn't have any of those kind of mystifying bad games that we've seen from him, freshmen do that sometimes, but this is not the time for that. He needs to play well, and if he does, I think this team's got a good chance of making it to the Sweet 16.
All right, putting you on the spot, which team goes the farthest in the tournament, IU or Purdue?
I'll say Purdue. I think Purdue's going to make it at the very least to that Duke game, and I think they have a good chance of going beyond that. Whereas for Indiana, getting by Kent State and Miami, while doable, I think is going to be a little bit tougher. So give me Purdue.
Okay, so people making their brackets out right now, give me a Cinderella team that you would say, hey, keep an eye on this squad.
I love Charleston. The Charleston Cougars, they got themselves a 12 seed in the South region. They're playing a San Diego State team that is solid, but quite honestly, the Mountain West has historically underperformed in March. And I think Charleston not only could advance past San Diego State, every year for people filling out their brackets, there's going to be at least one 12-5 upset. There always is. It's like clockwork. And for me, I think Charleston's not only a 12-5 upset team, they're a team that could advance past Virginia and make it all the way into the Sweet 16. I think they're a team that has a lot of talent. They're a 31-win team in the regular season. And if I'm picking a double-digit seed to make it to the Sweet 16 or even farther, give me Charleston.
You know your stuff. All right, where could people hear you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Andy Patton CBB. You can find the Locked On College Basketball podcast on YouTube. It's wherever else you find podcasts as well. Fantastic show. Started in November, covering all things college basketball 5 times per week.
Awesome. Thank you. Andy Patton, thank you for the information and enjoy tournament time. Let's go, all right?
Yes, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on.